Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a good Monday. I'm Chris Sumner,
I'm Alicia Gordon. We work at EMS.
and we are going to take you through this cool website called Glide Apps, and it's a really fun, interesting way to kind of integrate a different kind of technology into your classroom that I don't think a lot of us have thought about using. So listen and watch, and if you have any questions, Alicia is going to be answering them in the comments, and hopefully we'll give you some cool ideas for how to use this in your classrooms. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch over to so you can see my screen. All right, so Glide is a website that you can use to create a Sorry, guys. I think we had a little bit of a audio issue. Um, hope y'all can hear me now. Anyway, so back to Glide. This template is one of the ones that I used, and you just open the template, and then I went over to Edit Sheet, and it brought me to this. So what I did is I used that kind of as an outline, and since it's Texas Independence Day, I decided to kind of make a little Independence Day thing about Texas history. So what my app is that I made, it's a map with locations of major Texas Revolutionary War sites with some information about where those are, and sorry guys, we're trying to fix some technology issues right here. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and continue with this. If you're having trouble, you can always view this video again on our YouTube account. We'll put a link for that later on. But anyways, my app is about Texas history. So I'm going to show you how it works, and then I'll go back and show you how I made it. So once you publish your app, you can share it with your students. And I thought this would be maybe a cool thing for your students to kind of get an interactive way to explore Texas history in a different light. So here's the app, and it works on your phone, or it can work on their Chromebook, which is really nice. You don't always have to have a phone. Our campus is phone free, so students don't have a phone. But it's working like your phone would. You can scroll in and scroll out, and as you can see, I've put several different spots of things that happened during the Texas Revolution. You can view it by location like this, or you can click this button right here and it changes to a list view. So I kind of kept them in order of when they happened. If you're any Texas history buffs, please don't fact check me too hard. So I give what happened and a brief description, where it happened, and the date it was. And there's a little picture for each of the events. So you can look at it this way, or we can flip back to the map. And so these kids can kind of get a relation as to where, in relation to where we live, which is up here, where these different events happen. So they're kind of getting a tangible feel of where some of these are. So you just zoom in, click, see where it happened. You can go back, and it's pretty easy to use. Nothing too complicated with getting around on the app. Now let's go take a look at how I actually made it. So like I said, I used one of the templates, and then I just created it my own. So each one of these columns corresponds to a one of the spots in the app. And so let's go back to, and we'll actually open to edit this app, and I'll kind of go back and forth and show you. So I'm using a map, and once I've entered my data, I kind of wanted what it was, the category, address of where it is, so it'll pop up on a map. I put a picture there, the date it happened, and then a little summary of what the event was. So those are kind of I thought about what I wanted the kids to know about each location, and then I kind of worked backwards. So I created each of these columns, and then once you pick your template, you can go down here to edit sheet and add all that information, and it'll pop up with, as you can see, I'll click this and it'll pop up with the same spreadsheet that I just had open. So you can fill in that information, change it how you want it. You can change your layout. So I could make it a list, I could make it compact, a checklist, but I liked the map because I wanted the kids to see the location. Down here for the data, you just make sure that what you want showing in that specific section is matched up. Some of the features you can put in a search bar and some filters. And if we get it on here to data, there's another way that you can see how things are lining up in your spreadsheet. And then in your settings, you can kind of change the accent colors in the app, your icon. You can upload your own icon, or you can choose an emoji, and we're the Lone Star State, so I picked a star. You can change the theme down here. So really cool ways to edit this. Like I said, it does take a little bit of playing around with, watching definitely some tutorials on how to use this, and maybe getting with your campus technology facilitator and they can help you out. Or you can come talk to us if you have any questions about it. We're always available. And so Alicia, we're going to flip over. She created an app. She's going to kind of walk you through how this works on her side. It's a little bit different than how I did this. Mine was more of a teaching tool, and hers is going to be more of a keeping kids on task and making sure they're kind of completing all their assignments and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and check out her app, and she's going to take over.
Hello, a few more days until spring break. So my app I used, we are a very data-driven campus, as most campuses are. So I chose three SEs or TEKs three TEKs that the students had to know and do very well that they may have struggled on. So this is just a practice app, just a practice way of viewing. These were not my lowest tested areas, but these are commonly lowest tested areas in writing. So I will use this app in order for students to be able to track what tasks they are completing. Okay, so whenever you create your app, the first thing you do is you can go to the Excel sheet. My Excel sheet isn't open yet. Oh, here it is. It's right here. So each of my tabs right here create a different area inside of the app. So the first thing is each of these categories you see right when you open the app. So when I open the app, I see the three categories, where it's categories, all projects, and open tasks. After you get, so category, projects, task, right here. It's those exact same tabs will be located in my app. So first I chose what I wanted to go into the category section, and I used a template that was already located in the Glide app. So when you go to Glide and you want to create an app, if you hover over the create app option, you can either choose from a template or you can choose from a Google spreadsheet that you have already created. I chose from a template because that's much easier than creating your own Google spreadsheet. Unless you are a super tech savvy person, I suggest using the templates because you can manipulate them any way that you would like. So I use the task tracker. So on Fridays, at our campus, we are doing academic research stations. So each of these stations requires students to complete a different task. So each of my tasks have been separated into the three different TEKs. When I click on one, this student is the only one that has to work on this TEK, and it tells him what that TEK is. So he has to revise drafts. Now, that part is those are the things that are both for me and for that student. But right now his task is in progress. when he finishes it, he can press complete to be able to move on to the next task. So I know that that's a task that I can check for him. Then I go back to my categories and I can press the next category. So this category also has some students in it. This one has 2 students located here. So they will be composing a text. Well, my primary focus here looks like it's going to be the thesis statement and craft. So that's an assignment that I will be looking for from Stacy and and Billy. And it's so on and so forth with each of my teaks. And you can also change these images if you would like. I didn't change the images. And these are my students. We have John Boy and Beyonce working on their work. And they all have completely different tasks to complete. Now, within those tasks, after they complete them, these are all of my open tasks that must be completed. So different areas within the app that they must complete and that they must do. So you'll have some people who are in their brainstorming stage. Then you have some people who are editing, and you can change the due date. You can add the task status if it's updated, things like that. And then each of these tasks offer completely different things. So some people, I require them to use transitions. Other people, I think I have categories about using Awubis and things like that. So it's very, very, whenever you create the app, it may require quite a bit of front loading on you as a teacher, but once you've completed all of the app, if you did the task tracker, now you know what each student knows what they have to do. And not only does each student know what they have to do, you know exactly where your students are, and you can share the app with them. And if they have a Chromebook, they can just scan the code to install the app onto their computers. Now, as Sumner mentioned to you, there is no coding. So all that is required is you fill out information. So I can change these images. If I wanted to, I can change this icon, different things like that. It's just whatever you as an educator decided to do. So these were all of my open tasks. As you can see, some of these tasks have been completed by some students and some of the tasks have not. So you can see exactly where each student is and what they're working on. You have all of their projects. So what I decided to do was I gave each student a specific skill that I wanted them to do. So there is definitely a push as we get closer to STAR, or as you review through things for your EOC or for your exams that you have in those non-STAR tested subjects, you can still do by student, by skill. So after you looked at your data, because this app is definitely helpful for teachers who use their data to create assignments for their students, you can put each student in their own specific category. So I know that Bob and John shouldn't be working on the same thing as Beyonce or Iggy or John Boy, Billy, or Stacy. And then I also, in the description, is where I decided to put their actual teak, the actual thing that they're supposed to be doing. So if you looked at these two are revising, so they have definite revision task: edit, revise essay, use transitions. Those are use Awubis, add fanboys, adding in positive phrases. Those are all different stages of revision that I expect those students to complete. Then I have people who I have, like I said, primarily they're going to be focusing on creating thesis statements and analyzing their thesis statements. And then you'll also have some people that are still working there on the beginning. But once you've created the app, I think that as an educator, it would be much easier for you, because the students, it would definitely be putting responsibility on them, and you could immediately see what tasks are being completed and what tasks have not been completed by those students. Now, one thing that you may wonder is, can you edit this after you have created it? Yes, you can go back and edit your spreadsheet each time that you create it. And after you edit it, if I were logged into mine, so I can look at Sumner's. if he wanted to edit this app, he can press edit, and any change that he makes, he can just press reload sheet and it'll upload those new changes immediately. So any change that he made to the spreadsheet, he just uploads it. I mean, he just reloads the app and that change is automatically included. So it's a way that it's something that you can constantly edit, constantly keep creating on. And I mean, those names, you can change out those names for new names. So you may want to use this for a task tracker, or maybe you may want to use it for students who will be in small group with you. So if I wanted to use it for small group, I can change these categories, right? So my categories may not be TEKS anymore. It may be, okay, small group Monday, small group Tuesday, small group Wednesday, then change the tasks that I'm going to do with them, the things I plan on working on with them. And not only does it hold the students accountable, but it allows the teacher to know exactly what it is that they're working on and exactly what they want the student to work on also. Like I said, it's definitely a bit of front loading, but if you use the templates that are already available on Glide, they will really help you out. They have a wide range of templates to offer, and you can use either of the ones that you'd like. So you can see they have an expense report. So if you were working on budgets in class, an attendance tracker. So if you wanted to I do raffles for my students, so I can track who's there, who's not, just different things. Or you could take one, like I said, I take the task tracker and I modified it to be exactly what I needed it to be for my classroom. It had the amount of categories that I would like to have. And it's something that I think you could consistently work and consistently change. And when you look over here, these are all the options that you have. So they have an education section. This is a fun section, but you can use those fun templates in order to help you in your class. And it'll just create a new Google Sheet for you to use. And as I said, it's something that can constantly be revised, and you can constantly update your app, which is extremely beneficial that there is no code, because that would mean you have to change the code every time that you do it. But no, you change it in the Google Sheet and refresh it on the app, and you'll be able to use it immediately.
All right. Well, if you have any questions about how to use Glide, you can always come talk to us, or definitely check out some of their tutorial videos. And we're going to post the webinar attendance right now. So make sure that you complete that so that you can get credit for watching us. And thank you for spending a little bit of time with us on Monday.
Happy soon spring break, teachers.